A woman suddenly discovers a strange boy tied up by others, but he claims he's pretending to be a vending machine. The woman jokingly orders a cola, and the boy responds that it costs 120 yuan. Seeing how committed the boy is to his act, the woman turns to leave. At that moment, the boy quietly mutters, "Please help me." But after the woman rescues him, she receives another unusual request from the boy. He wants her to pull out his tooth. The woman suddenly gets excited. She ties a thin string around the boy's tooth, but no matter how hard she pulls, the boy can't keep up with her rhythm and the tooth won't come out. The boy insists he's not scared, it's just his body's instinctive reaction. The frustrated woman comes up with a clever idea. She tosses the soda can she's holding into the air, and the boy immediately looks up at the airborne can. What happens next is absolutely bizarre. The soda suddenly transforms into a penguin. As the penguin tumbles and crashes to the ground, the woman successfully pulls out the boy's tooth, but the boy is completely absorbed in what just happened. To his surprise, the woman isn't shocked at all. She calmly walks over to the penguin and mentions that she often transforms things into penguins like this. She hopes the boy can help her solve this mystery. The next day, Aoyama brings all sorts of random objects to Big Sis, but not a single item successfully transforms into a penguin, not even when they throw soda bottles again. After thinking it over, Aoyama and Big Sis start recreating yesterday's actions. Even when they throw soda bottles from different angles, they fail to produce any penguins. This makes Aoyama feel like he's been tricked and has wasted an entire day. Feeling doubted by Aoyama, Big Sis gets angry too. She storms off in a huff. This time, Aoyama quickly drops his stubborn act. He catches up with her and apologizes. That evening at home, Aoyama compiles all the data from today's experiments. The next day brings good news. Aoyama's friend Yamada has actually caught that penguin and brought it to school. But the penguin refuses to eat anything. They think it might not be adapting to the local climate, so they decide to send it to an aquarium in the big city. Shortly after getting in the car, a scream suddenly comes from inside the box. The penguin is now weakly drenched in sweat. The two are forced to pull over and check on the penguin. As they open the box, the penguin seems guided by something and walks forward. But after just a few steps, it collapses weakly on the ground. Its body trembles, and then space begins to distort. With one final dying cry, the penguin transforms back into a soda can. Aoyama's eyes show not only disbelief but also a glimmer of determination to get closer to the truth. That evening, he shares all his theories with Big Sis. He believes the penguins are created through some kind of energy, which is why they can move without eating. But they can't stray too far from the city, and that energy source is most likely Big Sis herself. Hearing all this, Big Sis can't help but complain that she's been having insomnia and nightmares lately. Just as she's telling Aoyama how terrifying the bats in her dreams are, the lights suddenly go out. The chess pieces on the table start shaking violently. Then the chess piece in Big Sis's hand suddenly transforms into a terrifying bat. The pieces on the chessboard also turn into bats and fly wildly around the room. Witnessing all this, Aoyama seems to have figured something out. He invites Big Sis to experiment again. When the dark clouds disperse and sunlight shines down on them, Aoyama has Big Sis throw the soda can. After 2.5 mid-air rotations, the soda indeed transforms into a penguin. Then Aoyama explains the reason. The day the penguin appeared was sunny, while their first experiment was on a cloudy day. If it's at night, creatures like bats appear instead. But Big Sis doesn't seem to care about the underlying principles. She's completely focused on how to create penguins. To investigate where the penguins are headed, Aoyama and Yamada enter the forest every day to search for them. This catches the attention of their classmate Hamamoto. After school, she stops them and takes them into the forest. At the end is a clearing covered by the forest, with a floating water sphere above it. Hamamoto names it the sea. When Aoyama tries to observe the sea up close, he accidentally triggers its defense mechanism. Hamamoto brought him here because she wants to research the sea together. With summer vacation here, the three of them meet at the forest every day. No matter if it's windy, rainy, sunny, or stormy, nothing can stop their exploration of the sea. As their research deepens, Aoyama decides to explore the sea's interior. Because of the defense mechanism, he specially creates a penguin thermometer. But when the thermometer enters the interior, a massive suction force pulls Yamada toward the sea. The device slips from his hands and the instrument that enters the sea mysteriously disappears. The sea emits a terrifying aura. Just then, Big Sis shows up with penguins. While they're talking, all the penguins gather below the sea and continuously peck at the water's surface. The surface immediately begins to change. Countless water bullets shoot out, flying into the distance like slime. Not only does it destroy the three friends' laboratory, but one is also heading straight for Yamada. Yamada is completely frozen in shock. At the critical moment, Big Sis throws a can. It transforms into a penguin that swiftly flies into the water sphere's interior. After rotating 2.5 times, the water sphere bursts with a sound. The small water spheres that fall to the ground are pecked open one by the swarm of penguins. After getting Yamada settled, Aoyama shares his idea. He wants Big Sis to participate in the experiments too, but Hamamoto refuses. Jealously, she tells Big Sis not to come here anymore. She then leaves without looking back. On the way back, many researchers appear in the forest. Although Big Big Sis deflects their questions by saying she's looking for the three of them. This makes Aoyama very concerned. He tells Big Sis not to create any more penguins. If discovered, she'll definitely be taken for experiments. From that day on, strange things keep happening in town. Not only do street lights and vending machines mysteriously disappear, but mailboxes are cut in half. Eyewitnesses say it seems like a seal-shaped monster is causing trouble. When Aoyama and Yamada prepare to enter the forest to investigate, they discover that many workers have blocked off the road. Aoyama has to take Yamada to find another entrance. They see a huge monster chasing penguins. When they reach the clearing, the sea has become enormous. Hamamoto has already arrived and started recording. Looking at the ever-expanding sea, Aoyama hopes to terminate the experiment. With strange things happening frequently, it's only a matter of time before those people outside discover the sea's secret. Then their research results will surely be taken away, and Big Sis's special abilities will definitely be discovered. At that point, Big Sis will be in danger. But Hamamoto absolutely refuses to give up the research. She thinks all this is just Aoyama's selfishness. The three part on bad terms. But despite all their calculations, they couldn't avoid Hamamoto's researcher father. He discovers the group's experiments in Hamamoto's diary, which of course also records Big Sis and her penguins. He himself likes exploring the unknown, so he finds Big Sis and hopes she can help with the research. Aoyama, returning home that evening, happens to run into Hamamoto's father leaving. Coming to see about teeth this late gives Aoyama a bad feeling. He rushes to find Big Sis. Before he can even ask, Big Sis says she's been dreaming of a seaside place lately and asks if he wants to go to the beach this weekend. The next day, they meet at the station as planned. At first, they're chatting and laughing, but as the train travels farther, Big Sis's condition gets progressively worse. Aoyama thinks of the previous penguin incident, so they have to get off at the nearest stop. The place where they get off happens to be the previous station. Here, Big Sis seems to receive some kind of summons too, but after just a few steps, she suddenly collapses. Large beads of sweat keep dripping. After hitting the ground, the sweat beads roll forward continuously. The earth begins to rotate with Big Sis's groans, and strange creatures circle around. There are even signs of them emerging from the ground. To prevent anything from happening to Aoyama, Big Sis can only desperately endure. The commotion around them finally quiets down. Seeing Big Sis in pain, Aoyama immediately pulls out chocolate. But Big Sis says something shocking. She claims she hasn't eaten for 2 or 3 days but isn't hungry at all. Returning home, Aoyama immediately starts fasting. But after just 2 days, he weakly collapses. In his weak, delirious state, he sees a strange vision: whales floating in the sky, seals eating penguins, and Big Sis appearing there too. When he wakes from the dream, Big Sis is watching over him by his bedside. Although he's so weak his voice is trembling, he still hopes Big Sis will take care of herself. Big Sis tells him even more surprising news: she hasn't eaten anything for a whole week. At this moment, Aoyama finally understands that Big Sis, like the penguins, might not be a real human. After figuring everything out, Aoyama just wants to grow up quickly, as if growing up would solve all these troubles. The next day, Aoyama returns to school. Some classmates are bragging about the monster they caught. The news spreads quickly, and researchers rush over. They put the 3 kids in a car and drive deep into the forest. Aoyama thinks of Big Sis. Ignoring his companion's attempts to stop him, he immediately runs to Big Sis's house. But no matter how much he shouts, there's no response from inside. So he puts down his things and rushes to the forest. The two who arrived at the forest earlier discover all the entrances are sealed. They've set up a temporary base nearby, and Hamamoto's father is in charge of the operation. Hamamoto begs her dad to let her go deep into the forest. Her father angrily scolds her, saying it's too dangerous and she should go home immediately. Hamamoto hears the boy's voice and thinks he's the one who betrayed them. She runs over forcefully and slaps the boy hard across the face. Aoyama, who just arrived, witnesses this scene, which makes him decide to give up researching the sea. That evening, Hamamoto's father takes the research team for a close-up observation. The next day's news broadcasts information about the sea. It's getting bigger and bigger, threatening the entire town's survival. Then comes news about Hamamoto's father. They had an accident during exploration. This causes Hamamoto to lose emotional control. To help Hamamoto rescue her father, Aoyama decides to find Big Sis for help, but all the school exits are monitored. Just when they're extremely anxious, the boy appears with his crew. Although he doesn't know why Hamamoto is angry at him, he still hopes she'll forgive him. With the crew's help, they successfully climb over the school wall. Police on the road try to catch them, but their friends trap the officers, giving Aoyama a chance to escape. All along the way, police officers are patrolling everywhere. Aoyama dodges and hides until he finally finds Big Sis. He tells her all his research findings. Big Sis and the penguins are actually sustained by energy emitted from the sea. But because Aoyama told Big Sis to stop creating penguins, the sea's energy can't be absorbed, which is why it keeps getting bigger. The sea itself distorts time and destroys space. He theorizes the sea might be a hole in this world, so the penguins destroying the sea are actually repairing the world. To help Aoyama solve the mystery of the sea and rescue the missing research team, Big Sis decides to take Aoyama inside the sea to investigate. Along the way, Big Sis Sis no longer suppresses her ability. Whether it's soda bottles, rearview mirrors, red bricks on the ground, flower pots, or broken motorcycles, everything transforms into penguins that follow them. Soon, an army of penguins gathers behind them. Faced with police blockades, Big Sis directly becomes the commander. Under her command, the penguins begin charging. As they run, the two suddenly ride on a penguin train, and the number of penguins keeps multiplying. Even the seals that eat penguins are scattered directly. They quickly rush into the water sphere with the penguins. When they wake up, they've reached the edge of the world. It's an endless ocean here. Led by the penguins, they pass through a dilapidated district where buildings either float in the air or are oddly submerged in water. After crossing a wide expanse of sea, they arrive at the town from Big Sis's dreams. In the town square is the stranded team with Hamamoto's father. While they're talking, the penguin army has already surrounded them. Then Big Sis runs to the edge of the square and gives the command. All the penguins soar into the air, cutting through the entire sky like scissors. As the water sphere shatters, torrential seawater rushes down the streets. The penguins quickly peck open the surviving water spheres. The monsters climb to higher ground and disappear. In these final moments, Big Sis takes Aoyama back to the original cafe. They drink coffee and watch the dwindling number of penguins outside the window. Not a single word is a goodbye, yet every word feels like a goodbye. Big Sis looks forward to seeing what Aoyama will be like as an adult, but it seems she won't see that day. Aoyama promises he'll become an amazing adult and solve the mystery that is Big Sis. As the last penguin disappears, Big Sis reluctantly gets up. After going outside, she waves goodbye to Aoyama and vanishes in an instant. From that day on, items that went missing in town suddenly appear on the streets, though their surfaces are all covered with green moss. The edge of the world is the sea. The entrance to the sea is the forest. The path to the forest is Penguin Highway, and traveling on Penguin Highway is a boy chasing dreams. Every story about youth is like a dream. Those anticipating youth always fantasize, while those who've experienced it always feel wistful. What happened that summer seemed like a fantastic and wonderful Midsummer Night's Dream. Adults think it might have just been a case of mass hallucination, but the dream was so real. The penguin found in the clearing is proof. However, whether all this was real or not doesn't really matter, because the story experienced is already deeply engraved in their minds. The boy must grow up, and life's journey is long. As long as you believe the edge of the world exists, at least there will be one more romantic and excellent adult in the world. So don't lose your childlike innocence. Life may smooth out your edges, but you don't want to become a boring adult, do you? And with that, the animated film, Penguin Highway, comes to an end. Thanks for watching. I'm Aya Film. Like and follow for our next film together.